system, you can see here, it starts with d4. It's an opening for white. And at the top level, there are some players who say, oh, the London's too robotic, it's too simple. But I'm here to show you today that I feel like it's a very rich opening, and you can trap your opponent with some really cool strategies. So let me just get started. So you start with d4. And the most common response, I'm sure you guys might have seen this in your games. A lot of times when we play our pawn to e4 or d4, the common response is d5. When you get to the higher levels in learning the London system, you will also have to be aware of other systems. It's definitely true. But what's really cool about the London is you can play a similar structure no matter what your opponent chooses to play. And don't worry, if you don't choose to play the London, say you love e4, don't worry, I used to play e4, I get it. You still do need to know how to respond to the London. So without further ado, I'm gonna go through this lesson, and if you ever wanna go back to the other notes, I will make it available. It's on lichess.org. So after d5, bishop f4. So this is my favorite opening, as I've said. This is the structure of the first couple moves here: d4, d5, bishop to f4. And basically, you can also try knight f3 as well. There are a lot of players that will do that move order, as we say. But let me just get into it. Okay, so bishop f4. All right, let's just see. Here we go. So knight f6 is a common response. And e3. Okay, this is just one version of it. And here we go. You might say, wow, Laura, it's only move 4 and huge decisions have to be made. So I want to ask here, what might you do if you were playing white here after your opponent plays bishop d6? Ooh, we got a poll going. So we got some options. Would you, for white, right? Would you go bishop takes d6? Would you go bishop g3, bishop d3, knight e5, and knight c3? And tell us why in the chat, or think about that and get your poll in. I think I see a hand up, Jennifer. Is that someone?
Yeah, we can call in people sometimes. Let me see you. Oh, let's give people 10 more seconds to vote in the poll.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody wants to verbalize their answer, I think that we had, I don't know if it's Siri or Shreya, because Shreya. Shreya, you wanna go? What did you want to do?
Yeah, I would play bishop g3, because if the bishop takes your bishop, then you can take with the h pawn and have an open rook file.
Oh my goodness! Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And I feel like I don't want to give away like which ones, but I love how you backed it up with that H file, right? If they capture. Awesome. I see a lot of the polls are coming in. Let us know if you need a little more time.
Again, I just closed the poll. I just closed the poll because most people had voted, and it looks like most people agree with Shreya. 60% plus voted for bishop g3.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess we'll take it from there. So yeah, and I see you might see here now. Why is bishop g3 so good? Well, I love what you said. Was it Sharia that if they capture? Let me just add that in. If they capture here, right? Now we have an open H file. And a little later in the lesson, you're going to see how potent and powerful that can be for your attack. So, and again, if you did vote for bishop takes d6, right? I just want to mention that in the London, one of the key strategies here is controlling. Let me see if I can show you here. You see this square, the e5 square? It's so important for both sides to battle for this square. It's one of the strategies. So if you were to choose bishop takes d6, the problem is that now if I'm playing the black side, I'm very excited here because my d6 pawn is controlling that e5 square. Okay. Very good job. I'm going to make sure that I put this here. Let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to go over this part. So bishop g3 is a nice way to respond. And if black castles kingside here, you know, these are some of the typical moves. We bring our light square bishop to d3. And you might notice here that it's already gazing into this pawn, this h7 pawn for later, right? Yep. And then let me just get to some juicy positions. C3, I do have to stop here for just a moment. I do love the London. And you can see the pawn structure, right, is very solid, and it's also consistent. So once you take the time to really learn this opening, this is just the common pawn structure that you can use against almost anything Black plays. So C3, bishop d7, knight d2. Ooh, I think, wait, there we go. I think we are ready for our next poll here after Black just played, I like to rewind, queen e7. Let's take a look. So this is a really crucial position of the London. If you're looking here, I want you to think, what should white play? And I see our polls up. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We have some options. So if you're playing white here, they just played queen e7. As white, would you like to play castles kingside, queen c2, knight to e5, bishop takes d6, or e4? And also kind of think about why you're choosing the move and what plans you might have as we enter the middle game of the London.
Somebody want to unmute themselves and go? Let's see. I'm going to start with Madison. What do you think?
I think castles, so I can get better developed, and I can always attack later.
Okay, great. Let's get like one other person, and then before we have Laura explain what she thinks is the best. Luna, what about you?
So I would like castle, because once you castle, you could get king safety, and then you could either push to e4. You could do queen to c2 next.
Okay, great. And now I'm going to go to somebody who I know actually plays the London. So let's see what she has to say. Violet?
Oh.
I picked knight e5 because that's what I normally play here. And if Black tries to trade off the knight, you'll take with the d pawn, and then you'll kick away his kingside knight, and then you can attack.
Wow. So this is amazing. The amount of variations that you guys are coming up with today. Was there anyone else before I kind of spill the beans, so to speak? Show you?
Let's see. Anybody still want to give their opinion? How about you, Zara or Zara?
I also think you should own castle so you can like defend your king, and then you'll have like a chance to attack easier.
Okay, and one more person asked to speak, so I'm going to let them. Cicera.
Yeah, I put queen c2. That way I could castle kingside, and I can also attack on the h7. Then I can move my rook to g1, so I have two doubled rooks, and they both can attack on Black's kingside.
So queen c2, I love that, Cicera, if I said your name right, so pretty. Yeah, like you get to attack that h7 square and get that rook going to g1. Wow, that's amazing. So I guess I want to say that a lot of the different moves that you guys were picking are all interesting. The move that I suggest is knight e5, just because you want to claim that square. And if you see in my notes here, and I will make this available, that we want to in the London, I like to say e5. This is definitely the $1 million square. And if you can kind of control it, it really makes a huge difference. And you want to prevent Black from ever playing pawn to e5, because if Black can do that, they can get an equal game and even an advantage sometimes. So yeah, that was amazing responses from the poll. So knight e5, but I do want to just give kudos to the other ideas given. And castling is always such an important thing to consider, and it's definitely not bad. But then the only thing I would like to teach you guys is that if you do castle here, the only thing I would say is now a lot of times players, if you're playing the Black pieces, which we'll get into in just a little bit, they can actually take your bishop, because now I'm so sorry, I don't remember who said it, but it was so well said that you wanted the H file, but guess what? Now our king, right, is near the H file, so it's not as beneficial. You see that? So just wanted to mention that for you, for when when you try this opening out. But again, castling is always something to definitely consider. So we'll go for the knight e5. And I just want to show you queen c2, just like you said a couple seconds ago, definitely important in the London. The queen loves this. Oh, this queen and bishop works so well together. We'll get into the strategies throughout this lesson and others. So bishop takes knight, it could be played here, and we'll kind of stop here for the structure. But I did want to say that once black castles kingside, when I'm playing the London, which is often because it's my favorite, I already kind of feel like, oh goodness, I'm excited. I know where their king is. My king has not committed yet, and I can definitely consider castling queenside at some point. But of course here we could eat that delicious pawn. All right, so I'm gonna kind of go to the next chapter that I've prepared for us today. But I'm so impressed with all the variations we came up with. And I'm going to just, I'm gonna just kind of show you kind of quickly another way that position could happen. And then I'll show you one of my games. Lastly, I'll show you a little bit of how we can defend against the London so that you're prepared in the tournament. And in life, when definitely a lot of players do play the London. Let's see, let's get to this position. Oh, yeah, 95. Because I think we get it now, just from the last position. If black is playing rook e8, it's a little similar to that position we just had, right? Queen e7. They are planning this breakthrough, as I like to say, in the center. So if they go rook e8, it's so nice to plop a knight here. And I'll just give you I know time is a little bit of a crunch, so I'm just going to make sure I get you all the things I want you to understand. So here, for example, once they go b5, you can tell they have a knight. There's a nice attack for if you're playing the black side here. In this position, I'll go one more move, h4. Let me see if I can just, in the chat, we won't, in the chat, if you could tell us what you think, I'll rewind so you kind of see what happened. If black plays b5 and we play h4, I'm going to flip the board here just for a quick second here, because I want you to also envision what you can do playing black. Do you see a nice move here after h4 if it's black to move? You can just say it in the chat, or, if you'd like to share. What's a move you might want to try here? Thinking about where the white king has decided to castle, right? Because it's both sides have some amazing strategies here.
B4 is very popular. A5 is, most people are saying B4 and a few people are saying A5.
I love B4, but I can't say A5 is not good either. But if I'm playing black here, something makes me want to just open up this queen side, right? And that's why today I really wanted to make sure that I show you both sides, because today in the tournament, you'll be playing the black side, and there's some amazing lines too. So here, it's definitely a battle on who can get to the other side first. But imagine they take it, right? Anyone, queen and king are on the same file. Yes, who's that? That's Siri. Yeah, and then you get into positions like this, and oh my goodness, the queen and the knight's precariously protecting this bishop. There's just a lot of juicy stuff here. But so I'll flip back, and we can just backtrack a little bit. But this is a very common structure for white. All right, now I'd like to show you a game I played. Oh no, that happens sometimes. Okay, so I'd like to show you a game that I played a couple weeks ago on live chess. Every Saturday there's chess tournaments from Chess in the Schools called the Chess in the Schools tournaments, and there's a parents and friends and coaches section. Really fun stuff. And for kids, you guys can compete too. So I played this game, and I always feel comfortable playing an opening I love. I chose knight f3, which I know Jennifer put in our email, right? When we practice in the tournament today, you guys can either go knight f3 or totally can go bishop f4 to practice the London that we're learning. I chose knight f3.
Oh, Laura, one quick comment, because Ananya had a great question about that. For black, you don't have to play d5.
No, you don't. Absolutely. And so after d4, knight f6 is definitely played. as you get more and more nuanced with learning all the variations, yeah, you definitely we need to look into that. But I will say something kind of cool about the London, especially at the level I think that most of us are at. You can still play similarly, right? Like even if they throw in the fianchetto here, look, you can just keep doing your thing. Like if they want to, I won't lie, there are some kind of interesting like sidelines we say, but even here, if you want to keep with your structure, what's great about the London is you can just do your thing, right? But you can't be robotic. You've got to look at what they're attacking, I guess, if that makes sense. Besides knight f6, I'm trying to think. I mean, players could play lots of different things, and there are some transpositions. Hope that helps.
Yeah, just Tara said if there's any restrictions, and it's funny because I know kids are so smart, and I know somebody would try to play like d4, e5, knowing that like I put on the thing that they had to play like two or three bishop f4.
Oh, gotcha. Love it.
So yeah, of course, if bishop f4 is a blunder, white does not have to play it. So the idea is if they play normal moves like d5 or knight f6, you play bishop f4 and knight f3.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you can't see me. There we go. All right. So that's a great question. Yeah. So what we decided, like we suggest to try the d5, or no, they can do knight f6, right? They can.
Yeah, they can do knight f6 or d5. I mean,
Yeah.
I would maybe prefer you don't play like the Dutch or something like that, like just something really weird, because then we won't practice for London.
D5, or if you'd like knight f6. Yeah,
yes, and then you can just play whatever your normal opening is. If you like to fianchetto your bishop, if you like to do e6, whatever you do normally.
Cool. And sorry that I put that last position, but we're just gonna keep going from here. So yeah, this was a game I played. I'll just go from the beginning. So yes, they played d5. I tried this, bishop f4. Bishop g4 is it's a little early for the bishop. And even, I'm a master, but I'm learning too. And I didn't make the best move here for white. And that's why I always tell students that the most powerful thing you can do to improve your game is two things: go over your own games, your losses, make us learn more, and go over players that you admire, right? When you're learning a new opening. So here I was going over my game and I'm like, I should have taken advantage of that early bishop move. Does anyone actually see a move for white here? You could say it in the chat. That could have been good. I'll show you what I did. I played, oh, sorry, it's not letting me. I have to press here. I played e3, it's fine, but I could have taken advantage of this bishop move. It was a little early for them to play that. Oh, I see some hands, I think. Is there anyone who really wanted to share? I just want to make sure. I can't really see everybody, so.
Oh yeah, sure. Who hasn't spoken yet? Annika, how about you?
I was thinking that you could do h3.
Oh. Okay.
H3 wasn't the best move, but it's always a good idea to get a tempo. What about Chloe? Chloe, what were you thinking?
I was thinking knight e5.
And you would be absolutely, yeah, that's it. And I didn't see this move. So as you see how even, you can always see something the second time around. Like I had no idea. I didn't think about that. It was a quick game, but still now I know next time I can do that. But yeah, I played e3. c5 was played. And does anyone in the chat or like raise their hand if you remember the pawn structure, right? Can you tell us what might be a nice way to defend our, oh, cool. I see it coming in the chat, right? C3. Yep, you got it. Yep, C3. Now, oh, I'm sorry. I kind of went too fast here. So let's just backtrack. So here we are. Why is C3 good? Why might C3 be good here? I could have played, pawn takes pawn or, other moves, but why is C3 a nice option? Help defend, it fortifies. I love that. Yeah. So this is just like continuing with the structure, right? So yeah.
And now you wanted me to launch a poll for black, right? After C3.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you play here as black?
Take your time, think about these choices. And this will be a nice segue to, so I promised to show you some strategies to defend against the London when you're playing black. I'll give you some strategy today.
Yeah, this is a super important moment. I think that it's a very instructive type of position. Lots of good answers coming in.
I saw someone mentioned knight c6. That's not what my opponent played, but guess what? That would have been a much stronger move that they could have played. Any other ideas before I explain a little more? Let's see, was there anything else? Someone said, trying to keep up with the chat. Oh, queen b6. Jennifer, can you talk about this? Because you helped me with this one.
Oh yeah, I think this is a really good idea against a London. It's a very dangerous move because if they try to play like queen c2, you sometimes even have, you could play bishop f3, but you even sometimes have like a spectacular move like bishop f5, though it doesn't work in that particular position because
but imagine, right?
Queen takes f5. You want to just show that line? Queen takes f5.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe e6 first, but I love it.
This is just a funny line. Queen b2, I'm about to trap your rook. And then what happens? That's a cool checkmate, right?
That's beautiful. But yeah, like even when you said it, even after, okay, so you don't play bishop f5 yet, but say you do it like, oh no, that would be too obvious. But there could be some fun tactics here, I'm feeling like.
Exactly. Yeah. The queen is pretty nice on b6, and the queen on c2 is not so nice because we might stick a rook on c2 eventually. So overall, queen b6 a nice looking aggressive move. Actually, the best reply, and I'm sure people like Laura knows better than me, but when I do play like a move like queen b6 in these lines, I think white often plays queen b3.
Yes.
And that's a good move because then it really does contest my pressure on b2.
And like we said earlier, one of you guys said it so well, like opening files, right? Like queen takes queen looks good enough, but now I'm kind of I think now I'd rather be white here because look at this nice half open file, right? And my rook's so well placed there. Excellent. But before I go back to the white side here, yes, queen b6 would have been a great move. Sorry, queen b6 was great. Also, knight c6 I really like. But my opponent played c4, and some of you I noticed did choose it. The thing is, like, the problem with c4 is, does anyone want to? I know we're running out of time, so. But does anyone like have I feel like it's a juicy position. Does anyone want to write in the chat real quick, or you can raise your hand? But what's wrong with c4? Because it is a bad move strategically, positionally. I see e4 is coming. Thank you, Katie. Yes. Once this pawn decides to not put pressure on d4, obviously not yet, but now e4 is going to be something that could happen much easier because now it's hard to, you have to see it here. If white ever pushed e4 here, then this d pawn would be left alone. But when they did here, that wouldn't have been great. So again, for the London, keep pressure on the center and try to get a attack on the queen side when they castle queen side, right? I think the big things. Or there's something, one more thing, maybe. What were you thinking, Jennifer?
Oh, in the chat, they were doing a really good job describing it, Laura. And somebody also pointed out that if c4, there's also the potential of playing b3 at some point.
Ooh, chipping away. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. And I just think it's so instructive. We have a lot of new players in this class today too. And c4 looks like a nice aggressive move, but Sharia put it really well where she said that, but it takes the pressure away from that d4 pawn, which is, really problematic.
Couldn't have said it better. Yeah. But I will say, I know why my opponent did this, because they wanted to stop my bishop from going here. But is that enough reason to give up pressure? No. Let's see so I'm going to kind of go a little quicker. I know time is moving, right? But this will all be available for review. Now, just like you guys said so well, I'm looking at that. I'm so excited to eventually push here, but when is the decision that you have to make? And I did it here. I didn't have to do it right now. I could have. I also considered queen c2, but I couldn't. I just felt like it was the right time. And e5, you might say, oh, but Laura, now you're taking away the pressure. I would say it's a little different because I don't know how to describe it, but I'm getting quite a significant space advantage, right? In this position. I'm sure there's other views, maybe to keep the pressure, but let's just take you gain more space. Yeah, exactly. So I pressed forward, so to speak, pushing forward here, knight d7. And this is when I get excited every time, because guess what? They've committed. They're castle kingside. I don't know if we made a poll, Jennifer, but either way, do you have any idea of what either I played or what you think might be a great move?
No, we did not make a poll here, but yeah, write in the chat what you think a great move for white would be here, guys.
Remember, black just committed to castling kingside. Crush. I love it. Let's see.
Very nice. Very nice. And Carissa Penn said castle.
Yeah, you got it. I did. I was like, great. Now let's go. And you're going to see right now quite a dynamic, stressful attack for both of us, which is the kind of play I enjoy, but definitely a little stressful. So watch. I press with h4. b4 I thought was an excellent move my opponent played, kind of like what we talked about, bring both the rooks together. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. These are great ideas. And I press forward with h5. This player played a5, right? I played g4. They played h6. Do you have a reason why you think that this opponent played h6? You can just in the chat or I see it. Oh, Tanishka,
yes.
They probably did h6 to block your h5 pawn and like try to stop you from advancing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this was a blitz game, and we all try to calculate the best we can. I don't know how lethal h6 would be right here, but I do know that I was considering going. I know it looks a little weird, but I was in this position considering, not queen, let's give them a better move. I don't even know. Let's say h, just for this part. I was considering actually going g5 and sacrificing this pawn so that when I push to g6, I'm making them make a decision, like I'm breaking through the file. And if they take it, right? Have you guys heard of like poison pawns? Well, this is what I figured. Yeah, Shreya. Yeah, like I'm wanting them to capture that because like you guys were saying, the rooks come in and it would be a really interesting position. You might already get in. I don't know the checkmate here, but for me, it would be worth the pawn sacrifice. So yeah, so then in this position, they played h6. Did we have a poll here? I don't believe so, but just in case I don't.
No, but yeah, like you can ask people in the chat what they would do.
Let's see. So I kind of gave a little hint before because this is something this strategy of this, I guess you could say, sequence I only started doing recently with this, G5 PA. Yes, I did it. And it felt good to get that breakthrough in. My opponent kind of I think they should have, well, it's hard to know, to be honest, but they did keep pushing on the queen side, which has a lot of value. Okay. And I took their pawn. I felt pretty good here, but again, there's some tactics they should have taken. I agree. They should have. It would have been, but it's still, I would have gotten this open G file, right? I can just show you, right? Now, pawn takes would have been good. I'll say that because I have to be worried on the queen side. It's true, right? But at least, I don't know, maybe I could go H6, right? But again, they could block me. Not going to say they can't. Some interesting stuff can happen here, but they did not. It was a blitz game. They played a4. I captured. We're gonna go a little quicker here. This is an interesting position. Definitely don't take here, guys, because that would have been a huge issue. I would have, like, my pieces would be a little bit blocked up, although I'm looking at a second glance here and it's like they can't go rook a1, right? So maybe we would hold on by a thread, but yeah, maybe that was good. It's hard to know. I'm looking, don't take because of the open file, right? So queen b1 I played. They played a3 here, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. I got a little like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I can't see the win, but that's part of the joy of a dynamic game. So in this position, just because of time, I got to go a little quicker. I went rook g1 with the idea, well, I don't want to give that away quite yet. They played pawn takes pawn. I expected that. Can anyone tell me why queen takes pawn is a blunder? In the chat, or I'll put it on the board for a minute. Why would have this innocent for us, like what's rook takes a2? That actually is beautiful too, but there's something also, bishop a3. Yes, the lethal pin. Oh my goodness. So you got to be so careful, right? That's why I say the London is not robotic at all. So they took any predictions. Well, I could go king takes pawn. Would that be good? What do you guys think? No way. Oh, good. Is it Gaia? Oh, Zara saying no. Yeah, I had a run. And then I think we have a poll, right, Jen? Or we have it in the chat maybe?
Yeah, we were going to do it in the chat, what they should do here to finish it off.
Yeah. White to move and mate in 2. So again, a rewind they took. I know it looks a little scared. I was a little scared. Queen takes b2. Be careful. Then that's why I wanted to show you guys. See, they could queen and then force the. You see that? Just for oh no, sorry. Okay, someone got it though.
Yes. Several people did in the chat.
And
Chloe.
then just for our newer players, do you see checkmate in 1 here? I'll give you a hint. It's with the queen. Yes.
Let's do Anushka. Anushka.
Go for it.
Queen to h7.
Yes. So this was pretty cool. So you guys did so awesome. I'll stop sharing, right? Just because of time.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes till the tournament starts. You're right, Laura. That was really good. So I'm just going to address some questions we got about the tournament. You don't have to play. If you do play, you might want to mute me and Laura while you're playing and then unmute us when your game is over. Only 2 rounds because we wanted to finish this up within an hour. If this is a popular format, let us know in the chat because maybe in the future, I'll make it 3 rounds and we'll have the class be like an hour and 15 or an hour and 20. You have to play the London as white. If you don't play the London as white, Laura and I probably aren't going to focus on your game at all because that's kind of the point of this. And if you're black, you can do whatever you want, but don't try to beat the system and play like E5 or G5 so that you can take your opponent's bishop on F4. Play something normal like knight f6 and d5 within your own opening repertoire. Okay. And what I think this is going to do is for those of you who aren't interested in playing in the London, that's okay. As Laura said in the beginning, this is also about what about you play black and your opponent plays the London. You got to be more comfortable with it. And one way to get more comfortable with it is to understand how to do it from the other side. Let's see. Well, everybody is.
Oh, wow. We got some going already.
So we've got a really good line here. I really like the way both players are playing. Actually.
Oh my gosh, they're doing so well.
I like Black System too, and I love this by Bunny Gambit.
Oh, I gotta agree with you. This is kind of what I play for Black.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm grateful that I don't play double queen pawn because I really find it a lot easier to play against the London when I don't have my pawn on d5. Because I get to play for e5 more easily. Laura, what do you think of this move, rook e8?
I love it. And I'm actually learning from you guys. This is something I always played double D pawns, and I'm deciding that I'm kind of tired of that. I want to play this system, and I really want to learn how to do a quick e5. I always play the Slav for black, d4, d5, c4, c6, etc. And that's fine, or a stone wall, but this is such a great structure.
Let's see what's going on over here. Well, everybody seems to be following the rules so far, which is wonderful. Okay, love it. Kind chirpy bird. Bishop d3. What's your take on that move, Laura?
Oh, a tough one. Well, I see why they're playing it, honestly, because unfortunately with the London, nothing's perfect, and bishop f5 does prevent a castling queen, will prevent, well, not really, actually.
It discourages castling queens.
It discourages it, right? Like, and if you go knight d2, but what do you think?
I think this one looks like Black's playing well again. I mean, I think you're maybe because you explained to them that they should play C3 here. I think they're doing it a little early. Like I would still start with Knight F3.
Yeah, maybe as a follow-up, I can add that in the study. Yeah. Like, Knight F3 is such a solid idea, especially when they commit to Bishop F5, because then they'll waste time if they tried to pin you on G4. They already took a move. So I like Knight F3, but yeah, let's see. I saw some good strategy there.
Yeah, and the reason I like Knight F3 more is because it's flexible. Like once in a while, you might want to go for it and play C4. Like you're not honor bound to play the C3 just because you're playing the London. You can still switch to C4, which is like even more aggressive, contesting against the center. Yeah. So let's keep looking around. We've got, oh, did I flip the board? I don't know why I did that. Let's see, how do I do it again? Back. I don't. Where is it?
Trying to remember, I'm a little newer to chess.com.
There we go. I got it. Okay. Yeah, because we're mostly looking at this from the point of view of the London. I wanted to flip it back. Yeah. Okay, so this one we got total symmetry. Okay, generally, this is a really important moment. Like I notice in a lot of new players' games, they love to play Knight C6. And this is not a great move in D4 openings in general. And the reason is that usually you want to use this pawn in some capacity, either to play C5 or to bolster your center with C6.
So well said. Yeah, I was thinking it, but thanks for articulating it like that, because with D, because we always learn for E4 openings, right? That's 4 knights and get those knights out, but not in D pawn openings for the most part. Although, there's always exceptions, but I agree.
And now it looks like, I think I'd be a little bit more aggressive here as white because your opponent messed up, in my opinion. I think that's a really important skill in chess, is like to know when to deviate when your opponent like plays a little bit suboptimally. Like I would probably go even more aggressive here. I'd try to like play for Bishop B5 because I want to take advantage of this mistake. Or even if I don't do it now, maybe I would do it the next move, like after the E6 move. So anyway, something to keep in mind. But let's just try. I want to try to give play to as many players as possible. So I'm going to go over some of these a little quickly.
I'd love to hear in the chat, like what you guys think of the London. If you've seen it before, that would be interesting for me too. Or if it's like brand new today, like if you have a new opening. Yeah, and it's fine. You don't have to love the opening. It's all about style and personality. I didn't play the London when I was younger. I loved E4 and gambits.
So let's take a look at this very interesting moment, Laura.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited because we didn't have a lot of time to talk about this, but it was on my mind. Yes, bishop takes bishop and pawn takes bishop. Okay, so those are doubled pawns, but I always like to say every move has its advantages and disadvantages, and I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages here.
I agree. And I like what white's doing here, although I would even prefer to play, I think like this B4, rook B1 stuff is a little bit misdirected. Like it's a good idea in a lot of positions, but I'm more attracted to hyper aggression here because my knight is so good. Like I almost want to play rook E1 and try to play F5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost like that reminds me of, I don't know why, but the Grand Prix attack. I know it's totally different, but just chipping away.
Yeah. And let's keep going, looking at more games. We've got Sujana versus Pujin. It looks like this one's well past the opening and white is winning, but let's just see. Oh, they messed up. They forgot to play London. So let's move on to Laurel's game. They also forgot to play the London. I think Laura told me that in chat. Guys, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because, when you start playing blitz, you just get into like instinct mode. Mm-hmm. But we're going to continue to play more theme tournaments. So hopefully you'll just get kind of in the vibe at some point and not forget. Just remind yourself, like you got to kind of say like London, 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 or Sicilian, Sicilian, Sicilian. Here we've got another one. Excellent. Pink Crystal was able to remember to play the London. And good, another teachable moment here. I think this is one of our adult players, Laura. Knight C6, a really nice, good-looking move, but two things, blocks in the C pawn. Second reason it's not as good is because you want to privilege the moves that help you to castle kingside. So develop that knight first.
Yeah. And I like how you said that in the D pawn openings. I know we learned in the beginning, like, okay, with E4, yeah, bring out our knights to F6 and C6 and F3 and C3, right? But in the D pawn openings, you want to keep that C pawn free to figure out where it wants to go.
And let's see. Oh, well, it looks like most of our games are over, but I'm still curious. Okay, this is Madison playing with white. Let's see what she did. She forgot and played E4. That's okay. Let's move on to the next one. Polly Chai versus Anastasia, 2 regulars for our girls clubs room. Good job, ladies.
D4, D5, Bishop F4.
Again,
can I say something here? Because it's something I just learned the other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough because part of me, as you're like teaching this class, I want to tell you, like, don't go knight C3 because of what you were saying, Jen. But it's actually an yes. Isn't that crazy? How how there are rules, but then how to break. Sometimes we break the rules in the game. It's like so tricky because I know we taught you the C3 E3 structure, but knight C3 is a really popular line right now at the top level, like the higher levels, and I'm just learning it myself. It's the London Jabova.
Oh yeah, Jabova, who's a great player from Georgia.
And
yeah,
I
Georgia,
started kind of playing that against some players who know my style to kind of keep them guessing. So yeah, I can't say it's a bad move.
I agree, Laura. And here's the thing: in chess, the reality is you can get away with more as white pieces than black pieces, and the reason for that is because you have an extra move. So generally aligns with like knight c3 are a little easier to get away with white than when you're playing knight c6 as black. Although there's the Chigorin, which is the opposite.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree. And that comes to fruition because you already have this bishop on f4. So you can immediately tactically justify this move, which is not as positionally astute, by just trying to play knight b5. Remember that chess is always a dance between tactics and strategy.
Yes.
Tactics, we win our opponent's pieces, we checkmate. Strategy, we try to place our pieces in a good spot to win the game in general. And knight c3 is not the best strategically, but if we play knight b5 and our opponent loses on c7.
Yes, I've won like that recently. Yeah,
then forget about strategy, man. I got your rook.
Yeah.
So that's a great point, Laura, and I'm glad you pointed it out. Let's see who's still playing. Well, it looks like Ananya just won. Looks like Heidi just won. Laurel's game is still underway, and this is an interesting end game. Black is up 2 pawns, but is it easy to win? Probably. I'm not sure because they're 2 H pawns, right? So
right. I'm like very fascinated here.
I do not think black can win this. They might win it somehow,
right.
But yeah, I don't think they're supposed to win this. It's a really interesting endgame. This goes to show you that pawn endgames are sometimes very drawish because this is also stalemate. Even if white were to give up the knight here, it would still be a draw.
Draw.
And yeah, there it is.
Wow. Very cool.
And what happened here? I'm analyzing the opening of the game, but they're actually probably just about to finish up. And it looks like white has got 2 extra queens. So she's about to win and we're about to play round 2. And I hope everybody who didn't get in round 1, I hope you signed up now. All right. Well, good job, white. And I wonder how white did in general in that round, Laura. That would be interesting to look at later.
Yeah, I'd love to I want to learn how to go back and see on chess.com. Definitely.
Well, the tournament is saved. So I'm gonna run the statistics there. Of course, like the higher rated player is more likely to win, but it would be interesting to see like if there were more
field, who won on the even field.
If there were more upsets with white because of the London. Okay, so what do we got now? We got a lot of great games. Let's try to see some people who didn't get to play the first round. If they got in this round, maybe we can find their games. Let's see. 0, they should be 0 out of 0, but I don't see those.
Yeah, looks like 0 out of 1 from here. 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, maybe they didn't get paired. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's start looking at some games. We'll figure that out later. Okay. D4, D5, bishop F4 again, good. I'd say people are playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right. Normal opening, nice. This one is also a normal opening, but I think that there's an interesting teachable moment here, Laura, from the same perspective of what you looked at. So what do you think Black should do here?
Oh, wow. This is so exciting for me because we just went over this and these ideas are just in the positions. It's amazing. Looks like, oh, is there anyone in the chat who would like to say what, if you're not playing, I guess, what move Black might should have maybe considered here? Bishop G6, I like it. Because then if White takes, then you get the H file. Yeah.
Like very good. Gaia, Annika, Prisha all said that, but Black instead took on D3, which is not like some devastating mistake, but it is like the corollary of what Laura was showing. And would you, if you were White, guys, both Laura and the chat, would you take with the pawn or the queen?
I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, Laura said team pawn. I like taking with the pawn too. Oh, yeah, I like it a lot. Get that center control.
But I know that's another like style thing in different, maybe here it's clear, but there are positions where some people want to take with the piece. Others want to change the pawn structure, but I do like the pawns there.
Yeah, although
interesting.
In this particular position, maybe
now it doesn't look so great, right?
Yeah, maybe it's not as good as it would normally be because you got
maybe team queen. See how you can, but overall, I do like to get that center control.
Well, I think it's another example, Laura, of tactics and strategy. Yeah. Strategy, I definitely want to take with the pawn, but then if I like look at the position closer, I'm like, well, actually, in this specific situation, taking with the pawn isn't as juicy as usual. So yeah, I think that's the interesting tension in chess that draws us to it. But let's take a look at somebody who forgot to play D4, but the position looks fascinating. So you guys are going to have some fun anyway. Diana, who is playing White. Let's see if and she did get the London system in. Nicely done. She played your Jabova system.
Oh, they played so well, Jennifer. Look at that. Look at that C6.
I love it.
Such a strong defensive move.
First move, I'm not a huge fan of. I think you want to get the knight here.
Yeah.
More than because G5
and then F4 maybe if you have the energy for or the there is a negativity with the E pawn, but I like that. Yeah, in that other position. Knight takes. Okay. Yeah. So there. Yep. So. We got to count the attackers and the defenders.
Very well played for a number of moves, but I think what happened is it's also a bit psychological. Like she played knight G5, hoping to play E4 maybe someday, but you just don't have enough pressure on E4 right now to get that move in. You would really need like a rook on E1 and a bishop on D3. So yeah, good start, but Black ended up getting a big edge. Violet playing White. Let's see how she did. She's actually she was playing Black. Violet was playing Black, and she's usually used to playing the London.
That's what you said. Okay. Let's see. Sometimes when you get really good at one side, it actually helps you know how to play against it, right?
Great job by Heidi playing.
Wow. Yes.
I mean, I know it seems obvious because we went over it in class, but I'm going to tell you something. Like most people have to learn something like 5 or 6 times before they remember it. So you absolutely deserve kudos for remembering it on the first time. And I think we have a memory champion listening into the call. So
I think I noticed. I think
she can attest to the fact that one time is not usually enough for most people. Unless you really internalize the reason behind it, Laura, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so it took me a long time to, but then, oh, wow, this is another example of tactics versus strategy. Like what's good in theory and then what's good right now. It's such a tricky thing because could we backtrack one move? So knight e5, I feel almost like, I'm sorry, like I try, because I gave you that knight e5 strategy, but you see that black got their knight rooted on e4. So after knight e5, I'm trying to see the players, is that Violet plays knight takes bishop, right? And gets rid of the next few moves, and then one control of the e5 square.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead, maybe same idea, but better execution.
Yes, there you go. And that's hard. That's like but when you start a fresh opening, there's going to be a few what I call glitches like we have in the virtual world, that I experience every day. But the more you practice it, you'll start to see the best sequence that works.
And let's see.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Whoa, looks like
yeah.
White is playing a great game here. W for the win.
And they have a stone wall structure. I love it. Little stone wall.
Let's see how it happened. This one was, okay, again, a move that we're not crazy about, knight c6.
Yeah.
Just the problem here for black is it's just a little passive. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted Laura to show the London, because you want to have fun as black, even if your opponent plays an offbeat system like this. But I do love this move bishop b4. That's a really nice recovery.
Yeah. It really shows shows White here, like there's a nice fight here, like for square. Yeah.
And she doesn't take on c3. I would take on c3. Because otherwise
bishop it's gonna what we call if you put it on b6, I don't know if you can move, but if it lands on b6, it's kind of like biting on granite. That's an idiom I loved in the chess world. I read once, like the bishop can't do much there, right, because of White's diagonal f2 e3 d4. So
let's take a look at, we're getting some requests for game people we haven't looked at yet. Luna asked us to look at her game real quick. It was also a London. Good job, both players, for remembering what to do. And again, White, fantastic stuff from White. Not even moving the e pawn. I love the creativity, Laura, because
this is amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to this tournament and just like learn. Yeah, like because we're all playing it and learning. Wow. Okay, so here that would be so good, but I think we needed one more defender, right?
Yeah, or try it right here. I mean, I know you're not castled yet, but I feel like it's okay because you're signing e5, and if they take, they can't take again because, well, they can, but you get a tempo, right?
Yeah.
So very, very good idea by White. And I love the perfectionism by White there, that they were trying to get away with not even playing e3 and just getting e4 in one burst. But the execution, unfortunately, lost them a piece. So, okay, great job by LL Aesthetic for pouncing on that. Sujana, let's see how her game started. Right now it looks like she's winning, but let's see how the London aspect of the game went. Again, we get lots of knight c6s. I'm not that crazy about it. It gets a little passive for black. And because White is really having all the fun here, you need to get that bishop out before you put your queen in front. She's probably trying to castle queenside, Laura, but there's just so much holes around that queen, aren't there?
Yes.
I mean, the king, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's see, who else's game have we not really looked at? Let's look at Katie's game here. Oh, I like this. We got one that I think you were going to show if you had time, Laura, like an immediate c5.
Yes. Oh, wow. This is the way to defend. Or I should say, I think this is one of the best ways to counter the London with that early c5. One of the ways, depending on your style, but definitely not passive, right? See the difference here with c5 and knight out after? It's a totally different ball game.
Like somebody who started with 0 out of 0, because they're playing like almost perfect chess. I think this is a very good player. They didn't lose their first game. I think they just got into the tournament in the second game, because this is just fantastic play by them. I mean, I I would be happy to play this way as Black against the London in a blitz game. It's just like, it looks just flawless to me. Really, really nice game. Oh, okay. Let me see. Are you trying to rejoin the call, Laura, from your phone?
My Zoom did time out. I'm gonna try to rejoin.
Okay, but either way, I'll take over the commentary now because they're almost done anyway. So
yeah,
don't worry about it at all. Let's see. I was just complimenting Black. I thought Black just played an absolute masterclass here. I don't know who King Hunter is, but great game. And let's see, two very strong players here. We've got checkmate 3-2-1, just made a second queen. Nicely done. Very nicely done. And she did indeed win. And then we've got one game still underway. And this one looks like Black is up a piece for a couple pawns, or just no pawns, actually. It's just that these pawns are a little menacing. So they just need to make sure to do a good job stopping them, and then they should win the game. Ananya is looking for a specific player to play some games. Oh, and here we got it. Well, we've got a lot of players with 2 points. Great job, guys. That was like an amazing tournament. We tried a theme tournament before, and I have to say, this one was even better because more people played the opening this time. So I want to really thank you all for following the directions. I know it's difficult to play an opening that you don't normally play, but I hope you got a lot out of it. And, you know, even if you don't ever play the London, now you know more about it. And that's the whole point of the series. Laura, do you mind copy pasting or actually I'll do it.
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay, you had the study available? Because I wanted to wait till the end.
Yeah, let me grab that. And I just wanted to say I had such a great time getting to know you guys and playing chess with you, and my passion, the London system. I hope you got some good stuff out of it, or at least how to defend against it. I'll put this, I can copy and paste this into the chat, the study.
And people loved it, Laura.
I hope so. Thank you. So fun. Yeah. So impressed really with the memory and all the skills. Oh, that made me so happy. Thank you, Tanishka, and everybody. Yeah, just happy New Year, and hope this is a nice, fresh opening for you guys.
Yes, and let me know your requests for future openings. And thank you for all of the adult women who came to the class as well. I know it's a little bit more advanced than our normal class, but I hope you really got something out of it. You can kind of see, like, if you work on chess, you can definitely be at that level of analysis in a year. And till then, we'll definitely continue to open up some of our girls clubs to grownups as well. And of course, our Monday night classes for grownups start on Monday. Bye, everyone. Thank you again, Laura.
Thanks, Jennifer, and everybody. Bye. Have a great rest of your week and a good weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
And Laura.
Thank you.